Hi, and welcome to this episode of the Successful Franchisee's Beautiful View. You won't want to miss it because I speak with longtime Mr. Electric President Joel Worthington, who's now gone off on his own, and he's helping leaders become better at what they're doing to lead stronger, to lead smarter, and lead more effectively. Please like, subscribe, and share the video with a friend. All right, so Joel, tell us about life after leading one of the most successful franchises within the Neighborly brand that you led for how long? How long were you president?
Uh, 12 years.
12
Yeah.
years, president of Mr. Electric. And
Yeah.
it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, Luke. I'm glad. Presidents, I had started doing a lot of leadership training while I was at Mr. Electric. And so that's what I'm doing, writing a book, doing leadership training. I do consulting, speaking. So it's a different world, different, trying to figure it out, honestly. But a lot of fun I love researching, I love training and consulting and all those things. So it's been a
Hmm.
long.
And what kind of clients are you working with currently?
Boy, various franchisors, franchisees, and then just uh, a lot of home service people, but some others thrown in there as well. So.
All right. And when we're talking a year or two from now and you and I are catching up and seeing what's going on, what type of client base do you think you'll have in the future?
Yeah, franchisors, a lot of franchisors, and just any kind of business people. Now, I do a training that is a 2-day training followed by 8 weeks. And that's for any aspiring leader or leader. That's a big thing that is really where my heart is training leaders. So whoever you are, if you want church, I would like to start doing a lot more work in churches. And so, yeah, pastors, any kind of leaders, business leaders, franchisors would work for those trainings. And then, of course, now I'll be developing some online training where you can just purchase and do study on your own at home. So there's a lot of different things that I'll be doing.
Hmm. And leadership is a broad topic.
Yes.
By definition, every leader is a little bit different because all of our personalities are a little bit different. And what is the focus of your leadership training? Where do you see leaders start, and then after they work with you, where do they come out?
Yeah. So having a system, there's people I hear people every now and then say, well, this company or this thing has a system. They don't have a system. They may have a system of training or they may have a development system, but I've yet to see a leadership system. There are leadership models. There's servant leadership, transformational leadership. There's probably 13 major leadership models that have been, really studied and put out there over the years. But a system means that I follow this system. So I help train leaders to follow the system. So the system it's hard saying this, Luke, because it's mine.
Mhm.
And it seems a little bit unbelievable, but it's true. The system works for everything. So what do I do if I'm a leader of a department or I'm leader of a large organization? It really doesn't matter if I'm a leader of a church or a leader of whatever, some kind of, local community group. It's the same thing. We still have to put these into effect. It's linear and circular. So we start out if you join my team, I start from the beginning. I have to generate a relationship with you. I have to build trust. Trust is built on character and competence. You got to trust me because I'm a trustworthy guy, and you got to trust me because you think I know what I'm doing. So that's going to take time, but I start that immediately, right? Understanding that I've got to build trust with Luke. He's not going to follow me. My title doesn't mean anything. Yes, as long as he wants to get the paycheck, he has to do what I say, but that's not a follower. That's an employee, right? Um, so I've got to be doing that. Then I have to understand the situation. So that means to understand your situation. In this case, if it's a department, I've got to really understand what's going on in the business, the KPIs, everything that drives the business. I have to identify goals, motives, and implications. That's something that we have to get into why there's three, but sometimes goals don't match motives, and sometimes we don't look at the implications of what we're doing and where we're going to see, wait a minute, is this really the place that I want to be? So, implications of doing what we're doing. That allows us to develop strategy. We People create bad strategies because they don't do the work of understanding the situation and really truly get digging into the goals, motives, and implications of what we're doing to make sure we've got the right goal. So once we do those things, now we can create a great strategy and then we execute and manage. Now, the way I teach to develop the strategy, we really end up developing the management plan while we're developing the strategy. So where everything's going to be in a goals, objectives, strategies, tactics, who's responsible, who's accountable, right? We do a RACI with it. When do we start? When do we end? What are the metrics we're measuring? If you can't measure it, you can't manage it, right? Um, so it's a system. Now that works with a department or an organization, and again, so we're leading, we're getting buy-in, we're creating great strategy, and we're getting our team engaged if we follow the system. Now, a lot of this is the name of my podcast and book is Tell Me More. A lot of it is connecting and communicating. So all those things are a system. But then this is how I have a conversation with you. This is how I coach you. I generate a relationship. When I coach you, I need to understand the situation, what's going on. If you're a manager under me, let's look at all your KPIs. Let's look at your financials. Let's look at whatever we need to look at. And then let's identify both your goals and the department goals, right? Hey, tell me again our goals, Luke. And then what do you want to do, Luke? We talked, last month and set your goals. You want to be able to have your wife quit her job. You want to make enough money to do that. Man, I love that. But Luke, based on what we're doing, you're never going to hit that, brother. Right? So now we got to tweak our strategy, right? So we're motivating based off what you want, but that's how you have every conversation, especially if you're dealing with an underperforming person or someone with a bad behavior, customer complaint. You follow the same system. So I have one of the things that really uh, takes this from outward knowledge to inward knowledge to where we can create that muscle memory is through role play. And I created a role play app with different scenarios. It grades you on going through the different steps. So you start internalizing that, you start thinking that. And one of the funniest thing, I was just consulting with a group yesterday, and one of the guys was, talking about a conversation he had this morning, and another guy was trying to use my system and was kind of coaching me a little bit. And I said, "Hey, do you mind if we just role play this?" And they were like, "Sure." They didn't feel they could follow the system. So basically, what happened, this guy told the guy, right, you missed 2 weeks of meetings. You got to stop missing the meetings, man. I'm not going to put up with this anymore. And he was explaining that he did that because he just didn't have time. So that's why I role played it out, right? And it was just like, "Hey, how you doing? So wanted to talk about you missing the meetings. Tell me what's going on. What's happening?" It took probably 1 minute more than what he would have taken telling the guy what to do.
Mhm.
Uh, at how effective that was and how easy it was if you just follow the system. Because of course I asked him about what goals, man, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And well, I got I have the wipe not working because that's what he said yesterday. And
Hmm.
I want to make more money. I want to move up in the organization. And the next question was simply, how does not showing up at these meetings, how do you think that's going to play out for you moving up and making that kind of money? And he was just like, yeah, probably not good. Probably not. What can you do about it? Right. So he came up with the strategy. So anyway, it really is a system for everything. I know I've sat here and talked and talked and talked, but I can talk a lot.
Well, that's why we're here,
Yeah, well,
to showcase you and what we're doing. And you hit on a couple of things there. Um, Leadership applies in every situation for somebody who others are looking to take them where they want to go. And
that's right.
it brought back my time as a fire chief. Man, I couldn't ask people to go into a house that's burning and extremely
Mm,
dangerous unless they trusted me to know what I was
yeah,
doing.
yeah, that's right.
Trusted their training and trusted their partner. There's a whole lot of trust going on there. And then you mentioned the guy who was late for meetings or not even showing up for meetings,
Right.
not even late, just wasn't
Yeah,
even showing up.
yeah,
You know, until that person understands the why, they're never going to change. It doesn't matter how many times you tell that person you got to be at this meeting
that's
today.
right.
Even if they're there, they're not there.
That's that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So I appreciate what you're doing. How does your and I think you said it was an 8 week or 12 week,
8 week. Yeah.
8 week sessions going. How do you build on what you're talking about right now
After the 8 weeks or during the 8 weeks?
during the 8 weeks? How does
Yeah,
that?
so we do a combination of things. One, you have assignments every week, and then we break apart the group. So if I'm come to your organization, which this is an organization that we have probably 25 leaders going through the course now. We'll have another 25 going through. We split them up, about 25 now, about 25 in September, and then the 8 weeks in between. And so I can come to your organization or you can send people to the organization. Here's the reason we do this. Simon Sinek has the best illustration. He said leadership is like brushing your teeth. You're supposed to brush 2 minutes 2 times a day. So that's what, 4 minutes a day. There's 7 days in a week. That's 28 minutes. Well, you can't just get up on Saturday and go, I'm going to brush my teeth for 28 minutes, right? And get her done for the week and put down your toothbrush and say, I did it. I brushed my teeth. It doesn't work that way. And John Maxwell says it as well. Leadership is a process, not an event.
Mhm.
And so the 2 day seminar gives you the in-person, you have a training module, fill in the blanks. You're getting fired up, excited about it, and learning a lot. It's very interactive, a lot of breakouts and stuff. But you're going to go away. I know this, and there's so many studies. I don't even need to name one of them. They all say the same thing. You forget in the first, gosh, I think it's 6 hours. You forget about 50% of what you learned. Within 8 hours, you've forgotten about 75%. 48 hours, I think it's 90%, something like that. And so we like to do conferences and seminars and stuff. Ooh, I went to the leadership seminar. And look, people will give me 5-star ratings and go, that was great and wonderful. And I love that. And hey, we could keep doing that and just taking your money. I'm not interested in that. I want you to become a better leader. And yes, if you go to seminar after seminar and read book after book after book, hopefully something's going to take and you're going to get better. But man, if we can take that knowledge and now ingrain it in 8 weeks. So we do the AI role play thing. You get assignments to do that each week. That really helps you internalize it. But we're working on you. You'll put down a problem in your organization or a goal. First week, you're just writing it down. Second week, we're breaking it apart. I use MISI, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive. We start breaking down the big components. Third week, we're breaking down those components into smaller components. Fourth week, we're, building out more of a hypothesis or issue tree or however we take it. And by the end of the 8 weeks, you're going to have a full, you're going to have created a strategy to solve that problem or reach that goal. And it's going to be in a place where you can manage it. So this is practice on that. We do role play. There's assignments to have conversations and listen better and then record what you learn from that, ask better questions. So there's lots of little things each week. And I do a video. So you'll watch the video, get the assignment, and then you're assigned, even if you just come to one of the trainings, you're assigned to a peer group where there's an agenda to follow. So everybody's going to have to ask, you're going to have to memorize GUIDE, which is the acronym. There's another acronym called DICE, which are what a leader, what we're supposed to accomplish, what we do. And again, I put it into an easy acronym so you can remember it. Because as we internalize, that's when we can start actually doing well without thinking. Some people obviously are better at asking questions and listening and being empathetic. Some people like me came from a family where I didn't even hug my mother. So empathy and my dad could tell a story and get everybody laughing, but he can't listen and ask questions worth
Right.
2 cents. So it's been very difficult for me. I really started building this out and thinking through, asking questions, and probably I don't know 6 or 8 years ago is when I really became serious about it, and it did well at work, not so well anywhere else. And then slowly it spreads, right? I started doing better at work, then I started doing better, with other people, and then it finally, because home is the worst because you don't have any guard up, right? And so now it's taken some time. I'm a slow learner, but with my wife, she's talked about the transformation in me since I've started really teaching this stuff, not in the past 9 months, but in the past several years. Um, that man, this you're just so completely different than when we got married. Because you used to tell and argue and you had no empathy. And now I've gotten really good at saying, golly, I'm so sorry. Tell me more about that. What are you feeling? What can I do to help? Right. And just asking questions and listening, which was not a part of my MO at all when we got married. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is a learned skill. I've heard the phrase they're born leaders. I,
Mm,
I, I completely disagree with that.
yeah. I heard
Um,
a great story, if I could tell real quick.
sure,
There's a
absolutely.
guy, there's a missionary, I think he was down in the Amazon jungles in South America. And he was met this tribe and he was talking to the chief. And he said, he was just so impressed with the chief and the tribe. He said, I bet there's been a lot of great leaders born here. And the chief looked at him and said, no, only babies.
I love
It's,
that.
I agree. There are born leaders. They're all born. I've never seen one hatched. Um, but we learn to lead. Some people have, again, some natural inclinations
Right.
towards that, but we learn and develop those skills for sure.
Yeah. And to me, it's like Tony Dungy said when he took over the Colts. He broke them down into junior high football basics. And
Yeah,
and all these pros are wondering, man, we've been doing this all our lives. What's going wrong? He said, yeah, you've been doing it, but you've been doing it wrong.
there you
I'm
go.
going to teach you the right way to put your feet, especially on the offensive line. I'm going to teach you the right way to do it so you never have to think about it again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're going to practice this over and over and over so that it does become natural for you at home. I can just see those big 300-pound linemen practicing their footwork in front of their wives at home.
Yeah.
But
No,
but no, that's to your point is habits are tough to break.
that's right.
And
That's right.
and when you're a leader, those habits can really get in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
And, and one, I guess the big thing to try to help people understand, there's study after study after study that show that leadership is the ingredient for success for your organization and for you as an individual. That learning these skills, and yet, I've lived in the franchising world for 20 years. We still want the class on, you know, how do we do some technical skill better? And those are needed, absolutely, right? Trust comes from character and competency. You have to be competent. You have to know how to read the financials. You have to know how to, whatever the software is, you got to know how to use it. You got to know how to do the stuff. But that doesn't equal success
Right.
when your folks aren't giving you their energy, and it's so pervasive, is the only word I can think of, that of people talking down to people,
Hmm.
cutting people off, not listening to your team, not giving them the opportunity to come into the strategic planning process, right? That not giving them a voice. All those things equal, I'm checked out. And if you want me to show up from 8 to 5 to do a certain, minimal task to give me my paycheck, that's what I'm going to do. And then in fact, I'll show up at 8:15 and leave at 4:45 and
Right.
dare you to fire me, right?
Right.
Um, and that's not the way for margins to happen, right? The more energy we have with the less people. So if I can get 100% of energy out of this individual rather than 30%, I can do more with that one person. That person can be more creative, more innovative. They can come to work every day fired up about helping and achieving their purpose and our purpose. And now margins start to grow, profit starts to increase, top line revenue starts to grow. We start innovating, and we start avoiding the flat line that is a part of the business S curve, and you know of a business. We start avoiding that and continue to innovate and grow and attract great people to us. That's how we win. Yes, you got
Right.
to know how to read the financials. Yes, you have to know the technical stuff, but without the leadership stuff allows you to find the people to you 100%, right? So the leadership is way more important. And I believe one of the latest studies that I saw says there's a $6 return for every dollar invested in leadership training.
Mhm.
But so many people
Yeah.
yeah.
And where was I going with the thought? Um, what you're describing is you're decreasing burnout and turnover because an
Mhm.
employee isn't aligned with what their boss is doing at the time. And at the same time, you're increasing discretionary effort. That
That's right.
employee doesn't have to give you that last 15 minutes,
That's right.
or they don't have to give you 30 minutes of work in 15 minutes if they don't want to.
That's right. That's right.
So I love where you're going with this. Uh, just because of the sake of time, we're going to probably have this conversation again or carry it on to the next level because we could talk about this for a day, but I don't
That's
think our viewers on YouTube would want that.
probably not. I can talk about it for sure for 2 days.
Okay. I'll be there with you.
But we better let them off the hook right now.
Yeah, yeah. How can folks get? What's the best way to get a hold of you, Joel?
Probably the best way is just Joel at joelworthington.com, or excuse me, well, that's my email, Joel at joelworthington.com. Feel free to email me with any questions, or, we can talk about consulting for your business. I have some great ways to help you and your business and see results. But joelworthington.com uh,
Fantastic.
is the
And I'll
easiest.
put I'll put both of those in the comments below. So please make sure to like, subscribe, and follow Joel on LinkedIn. You can find him there. That's where we met each other. And as always, thank you for watching this episode of the Successful Franchisee's Beautiful View. Stay safe and win every day. And Joel, I appreciate your time today. It's man, what a treasure trove of knowledge. Appreciate that and all your experience.
Thank you, Luke. I'm glad to be here.